Hello children, welcoming you all to the new 11th standard. Welcome to Bhavan's family. So I'm here to give you a short lecture on the topic about basic computer organization. Since I'm going to teach computer science, so I'll be teaching you about the basic computer organization, and this is the topic which I'm going to teach you in today's session. And then I will teach you in detail about the remaining things. Though this chapter is computer system overview. The chapter which we're going to deal with is computer system overview. In that we're going to deal about basic computer organization. Okay. So before we enter into all these things, I will basically tell you what exactly you're going to study in your 11th standard, class 11 and class 12. So in class 11, you will be studying Python fundamentals, and then database management system, and then you'll be studying some of the things like Boolean algebra, and then you'll be studying about SQL. So don't get confused about all these things. As if you have opted computer science in your group, so you have to know that for 70 marks you'll be having your theory. 70 marks will be your theory, and then 30 marks will be for your practicals. Okay. So if I wanted to tell you that this basics, the prescribed book for you is Computer Science with Python, and the author is Sumita Arora. So we're going to follow the same textbook for class 11 and even for the class 12. Class 12 we have a different edition. So as of now, all the 11th portions which you study will be definitely there in your 12th portions as well. So don't take it easy, as 11th is very easy and you will be easily passed from 11th standard, because from the beginning, from the scratch, you'll have to start studying. Only then you will have the continuation in your 12th standard. Compared with other subjects, here in computers, if you don't know the Python fundamentals, what you study in class 11, then this will be very difficult for you to continue in your class 12. Okay, so it is your responsibility to study from the beginning of the session. So Python, moreover, programming part only will be there in your question paper. Otherwise, database management, you'll have a few theory. Boolean also will be having some laws and all other stuffs to be done. And SQL also will be doing it in the lab class. Okay. So today I'll be discussing about the topic called computer system overview, which I already mentioned you earlier. So in this, we'll be studying about the general things about computer, like what a computer is, what are the operations that you're going to perform with the help of the computer, and what exactly we're going to do with the computer. All other things we're going to study about. You may think you know everything about computers because you have been studying computers from the junior classes. You know the same thing about hardware, software, and everything you've been learning. But this is for those who have not studied computer science if in their junior classes. Few might have studied, few must have stopped studying in their junior classes. Say in class 4 they must have stopped, or in class 5 they must have stopped it. Few schools don't have computer science as a subject, so so that is what is my concern. So I'll be explaining about each and everything in computer system overview now. So first of all, what do we know about computer? Nowadays, is anything possible without a computer? Can anybody say no? Can anybody say yes? No. Because computer system, not only computers, everywhere it has become very, very vital, and it has become very popular among the users, because computers is one thing which has become mandatory. Not only computers, generally talking about network, internet. So technology, you can generally call it as technologies, right? So not only in schools, colleges, and universities, you cannot say that there is a place without using computers. Each and every, even in a small petty shop, also we can find people using smartphones and then calculating bills and that, and having computers and maintaining ledgers and things and that. So that is how the advancement is in science and technology. The same way, computers also have different programming languages. When you think about C, C++, those are all the older programming languages that we have been using before. But nowadays we're using an advanced language called Python. Okay, so Python will be very interesting programming language compared to the other programming papers. So this will be interesting only if you understand. Clear? Okay. Now we'll get into this topic. First, we'll learn what a computer is. See, computer is generally an electronic device. You can call computer as an electronic device because whatever message or whatever thing you perform it is going to give you the output, or it's gonna perform that task and it's gonna throw you the output. So you can just call computer as a device which is helping you to perform any task, and then from the same computer you will be getting the output. Generally, it is all, a few people call it a stupid box, few people call it as intelligent box. It depends on how you use computers. Okay, so when we do something with the computer, the main thing that comes into mind is input and output. Yes, am I correct? Because input is the information or the instruction that we give to the computer, and based on this instruction, whatever we give to the computer, that is being processed, and then we are transferring it to the output. Okay, so input, this is the general cycle where you have input and output, and you have a process here. This processing is main thing where all the process takes place, like calculations, the memory holding, controlling, everything takes place in this. So this process is mainly controlled by CPU. CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. We'll be learning in detail about all these. We'll be learning what is input unit, what is output unit and all. So this is just the basic cycle of the operation of the computer, where we have input, process and the output. So in order to give any input to the computer, we have few input devices like keyboard, mouse, joystick. All these are some of the input devices, and processing is already done by CPU. And once the process has been done and once it is ready for giving the output, then you transfer that completed task to the output devices. So the common output devices are nothing but, again, monitors, speakers, all these are some of the output devices. Okay, so the basic computer system organization is classified into different ways. So we'll be seeing the classification now. I'll just show you. See, this is the basic computer organization's classification. The first one is input unit and the second one is output unit. Third one is CPU. Under CPU we have ALU, CU and registers, and the next one is memory unit, where we have two classifications, RAM and ROM, and the next one is storage unit. In that we have different things like hard disk, compact disk and all. So in elaborate, we are going to learn first about input unit. As clearly mentioned to you before, is how do you give an input? The same way, this input unit is helping us to feed the computer with some instruction. So based on that particular instruction or that particular task, it is going to perform any kind of task given by the user. So some of the input units may include many kind of input devices like hardwares and the many peripherals that we are going to use for the input unit. So accordingly, we'll just learn about input unit. Now, input, and I say this can be done with the help of devices, as I mentioned you earlier, like keyboard, mouse and joystick, the most commonly used input devices. Yes, but see, all these three are also known as the hardware parts of the computer. We call it as hardware because these components or these parts are physically tangible components. That means we can touch and feel the parts of the computer. Then we call it as hardware. And the next one is output. Output also is done with the help of speakers or monitors. This also we can touch and feel. These are the physical parts of the computer. Then this also we call it as a hardware. Then what is a software? You must have heard about this word software many times, like you have an antivirus software, you have different softwares for different things or companies or whatever. So what is a complete definition of a software? Software is nothing but a set of instructions that we give to the computer in order to perform any task. Okay, say you're giving any command in a form of a program, in a program, you're writing a program to draw a circle. So that is a set of instruction, and it's performing that particular instruction, and it is helping you to draw a circle in the screen. So set of instructions that is carried out to perform a task, then you call it as a software. So I've told you about what exactly is a computer. Computer is nothing but an electronic device. It is helping you to process the data and give it to you in the form of an output. And then next we learned about the basic cycle of input device, basic cycle of the computer, like how it functions. First we have input, next we have process, and next one we have is output. So in that we have learned about input unit and output unit, which is one of the basic computer organization. And also I've told you about CPU. CPU is also acting as a brain of the computer. And finally we have learned about what is a hardware and what is a software with the help of this parts like keyboard, mouse and joystick and the speakers. Okay, so in the next session I'll be explaining about the remaining things as I've told you. See, as of now I explained you about input unit, output unit. In the next session I'll be explaining about CPU, memory unit and storage unit. Okay.